laws are made by the government or department of the government. This is also enabled by legislation, by notification in the official gazette, and applicable on all citizens. Again, the sanction is fine and imprisonment. Then regulations or ordinances. These are made by regulatory bodies. Regulatory bodies means regulatory bodies under the central government or state government, just like central council or any of the bodies, university or like that. Enabled by regulations or ordinances, applicable on organizations and the group. The regulations or ordinances are applicable only the people who are connected with that organization. And the sanction is non-recognition or derecognition. Non-recognition means before coming to existence, if they are not following these regulations, they won't get any recognition in that organization or group, or once they are in the group, they may face with derecognition. Then ethics. Ethics are made by group authorities. It is enabled by, they are enabled by code of ethics, and it is applicable on the people within the group. And if somebody violates the provisions, they may be expelled from that group. No other punishment is given. Now, moral. That is individual, and it is enabled by religious writings or social requirements or by the people. It is applicable on individual, on conscience. If somebody violates that, the sanction is only guilt, shame, or social or religious opposition or boycotting. So as far as medical ethics is concerned, we have three things: law, ethics, and moral. These we have already dealt with. Medical ethics is having, it is a combination of moral and laws. Medical ethics already is having some portion of morals and some morals or some portion of laws. It is a mixture of all these three things. Now, medical profession is a field which has both moral duties and legal obligations. The relationships expect from the doctor the confidence of fiduciary duty to his patient as well as legal obligations. Now, the fiduciary duty, that is, whatever secrets are confided by the patient on the doctor, these are fiduciary duties. So, fiduciary duty means that should not be disclosed to anyone. So, fiduciary duty and legal obligations. Accordingly, the physician has some obligations to the government, to the public, to the society at large. So here there are two terminologies: duty, obligation. Duty means an action due by moral responsibility. Obligation means an action due by legal responsibility. If you look into the evolution of medical ethics, India is leading in this part. Vedas, the ancient Vedas. Ethics was an integral aspect of philosophical and religious speculations about the nature. So Vedas has all the everything about about ethics. Ayurveda, India has been blessed with glorious code on medical ethics since the period of Charaka and Shishruda. They have codified medical ethics in various Ayurveda writings. Greece, the Hippocratic Oath continued to be the guiding principle for medical ethics, and it determined the professional attitude of physicians in medicine for about 2,500 years. In Saudi Arabia or Arabia, as per the Islamic code of ethics, the medical man was expected to do all he could to save life and promote morality. As far as modern medical ethics is concerned, Thomas Percival, the physician of England, he codified a comprehensive scheme of professional conduct of physicians and surgeons. Now, regarding principles of medical ethics, there are 6 components: autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, veracity, respect for persons, and confidentiality. Autonomy means patient has every right to select or opt the treatment. He can choose the doctor whom he likes. He can choose the system of treatment according to his will. So nobody can impose or make him for any treatment in ordinary circumstances. Beneficence, that is benefit to patient. Everything the physician is doing, that should be for the benefit of patient only. Non-maleficence, not to harm the patient. The treatment, if it is not doing good to the patient, we are not supposed to do any harm to the patient. So our duty is not to harm the patient in any way. Justice, that is fair decision on the part of the physician. Justice to the patients, justice to the attendants, justice to the family of the patient. Veracity, that is truthfulness, habitual truthfulness. The physician has to be truthful throughout his life, not only during practice. Respect for persons. The physician has to respect the patients and colleagues and attendants and the patient's family. Confidentiality, that is the fiduciary relationship confided on him during the course of treatment or case taking. And we have our homeopathy practitioners professional conduct etiquette code and ethics regulation 1982, and these regulations have all these 6 components imbibed in it. So being the homeopathic doctors, we have the book written by Dr. Henneman, Organ of Medicine. From the first aphorism to the last, there are so many aphorisms which deals with medical ethics. For example, I am taking the first 2 aphorisms. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. Aphorism number 2, the highest ideal cure is rapid, gentle, and permanent restoration of health, or removal and annihilation of disease in its whole extent in the shortest, most reliable, and most harmless way on easily comprehensible principles. If we look at each word, it is full of all these words are regarding treatment with full medical ethics, rapid, gentle, and permanent cure, and our mission, restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. So homeopathy is having medical ethics in itself. So before the regulations, we have to look into some of the provisions of the Homeopathy Central Council Act. These regulations were made under the provisions of Homeopathy Central Council Act. The act was made by the Parliament of India to constitution of a Central Council of Homeopathy and the maintenance of a central register of homeopathy and for the matters connected therewith. So, main purpose of this promulgation of this act was the constitution of Central Council of Homeopathy, maintenance of central register, and the other matters connected therewith. These regulations were made by the Central Council of Homeopathy, exercising its power conferred under clause L of section 33, read with section 24 of SCC Act 1973, and these were made with the previous sanction of the central government. These regulations were amended 4 times: 16th March 1982, 11th November 1982, 12th July 2014, and 11th June 2018. Now the scenario has been changed. The Parliament of India has passed the National Commission for Homeopathy Act 2020. The National Commission for Homeopathy Act 2020, it was enacted, it was notified in the official gazette on 21st September 2020, and with effect from, and if we look into the section 58(1), with effect from the such date, and the central government may by notification appoint in this behalf, the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 shall stand repealed, and the Central Council of Homeopathy constituted under section 3 of the said act shall stand dissolved. Now already the government of India has notified some of the provisions of this act. So some of the provisions of Homeopathy Central Council Act have already been repealed, but still the other provisions are standing. The 59(2), notwithstanding the repeal of the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973, the educational and medical standards, requirements, and other provisions of the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 and the rules and regulations made thereunder shall continue to be in force and operate till new standards or requirements are specified under this act or the rules and regulations made thereunder. So, till the National Commission for National Commission for Homeopathy is constituted, and till it prepares its own, makes its own regulations and rules, the rules and regulations made under Homeopathy Central Council Act will prevail. So that's why these regulations, Homeopathy practitioners regulations, this will prevail till it is not amended by the National Commission. Now the first part is declaration and oath. At the time of registration, each applicant shall submit a declaration and oath read and signed by him to the registrar, and it is attested by registrar himself or any registered homeopathy practitioner. I solemnly pledge myself to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. Even under threat, I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit consideration of religion, nationality, race, political beliefs, or social standing to intervene between my patients and practice. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity according to principles of homeopathy and principles of biomedicines. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets which are confided to me. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude which is their due. I will maintain by all means in my power and honor the noble traditions of medical profession. My colleagues will be my brothers and sisters. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Now, Hahnemannian oath. The second part. On my honor, I swear that I shall practice the teachings of homeopathy, perform my duty, render justice to my patients, and help the sick whosoever come to me for treatment. May the teachings of Master Hahnemann inspire me, and may I have the strength to fulfill my mission. I will just go fast because time is short. Only half an hour is left. The primary object of this profession is to render service to humanity with full respect and dignity of man. The financial reward is a subordinate consideration. Profession assumes the obligation to conduct himself with its ideals. A practitioner of homeopathy shall be an upright man, instructed in the art of healing, pure in character, diligent and caring for the sick, modest, sober, patient, and prompt. Prompt in all actions. He should be without anxiety, he shall be pious, and his conduct should be to his profession and his actions of life, he should conduct with propriety. The medical profession expects from its practitioners the highest level of character and morals, and every practitioner of homeopathy owes to profession and to the public alike a duty to attain such a level. He shall be temperate in all matters. Then, regarding practitioner's responsibility, he shall merit the confidence of the patients entrusted on his care, rendering to each full measure of service and devotion. The honored ideals of the medical profession imply that the responsibilities of the practitioner of homeopathy extend not only to individuals but also to the entire society. So the medical man, he his, he shall be he shall render his duties. He should keep his fiduciary duties, his responsibilities, and his duties are not only to the individuals, it is to the public also. A registered medical practitioner shall maintain a register of medical certificates. This is a provision which should be remembered. All the medical practitioners, physicians should maintain a medical register. It is compulsory as per the Appendix 1. The practitioner of homeopathy shall provide the prescription to the patient or authorized attendant or legal authority within a period of 72 hours as requested or required by such a person. This is very important. If the prescription is required, we have to give prescription to the patient or to the attendant or to the authorized person, legal authority, within 72 hours from the time of that request. Advertising should not advertise either personally or by advertisement in newspapers, by placards, or by the distribution of circular cards or handbills. It is treated as unethical. Provided the homeopathy is permitted formal announcement in press, he can make the announcement in press regarding the starting of his practice, regarding change of the type of his practice, change of address, temporary absence from duty, resumption of practice, succeeding to another's practice. In these conditions, he can definitely make announcement through press, through newspapers or any other media. Payment of professional service. He shall limit his sources of his income to fees received from professional activities for services rendered to the patient. So, as far as a homeopathic physician is concerned, his primary source of income should be practice, and remuneration, the amount specifically announced to the patient at the time of the service is rendered. at the time of the patient is the service is rendered. So beforehand, we have to specify what fees we should take. There should not be any embarrassment afterwards. Fees are reducible at his discretion. Recognize poverty. Recognize poverty as a consideration for reduction of his fees. It shall be unethical to enter into a contract of no cure, no payment. This will be unethical. If we say that if there is no cure, you need not pay. This is if somebody is doing that, that is against the ethics. Rebates and commissions. He shall not give or solicit or receive, nor shall he offer to give, solicit, or receive any gift, gratuity, commission, or bonus for referring, recommending, or for a patient for medical, surgical, or other treatment from professional colleagues, trader, or laboratory, or diagnostic center, or dentist. Duties of homeopathic practitioners to their patients. Obligation to the sick. He is not bound to treat each and every one asking for his service, except in emergencies. So the choice is with the doctor to whom he has to treat. But in emergencies, there is no choice. He has to treat the emergency patients. But he shall be ever ready to respond to the calls of the sick and the injured. The following shall be the valid reasons for his withdrawal. If somebody is treating a patient, he can withdraw in the following cases. If he finds another practitioner, if another practitioner is already treating the patient, so he may withdraw. Or the remedies other than those prescribed by him are taken by the patient, or remedies and instruction given by the doctor are refused, or he is convinced that illness is an imposture. It is the patient is just imposting that he is ill. Actually, he is not ill, or he is being made a party to a false pretense, where the patient persists in the use of opium, alcohol, chloral, or intoxicating drugs against medical advice, or the complete information concerning the facts of circumstances of the case are not supplied by the patient or his relatives or attendants. In these cases, he can terminate his service. Then the discovery that the malady is incurable is no excuse to discontinue attendance so long as the patient desired his service. Even if the patient is and the disease is incurable and it will not cure, in that condition also he has to treat till the patient desires his service. He shall not willfully commit an act of negligence that may deprive his patient of necessary medical care. His acts of commission and omission, commission means which is done, omission is which is not done, shall be judged by the standards of professional service expected of him as per the training received by him during the education in homeopathy. So his standards will be judged by the experts as per his which is expected from him as per his studies, as per his curriculum, as per his the training, or which is at par with the other colleagues of the similar training received. He shall use any drug prepared according to homeopathic principles and adopt other necessary measures as required. So he can use the medicines prepared according to homeopathic principles and other necessary measures required. A physician shall not act contrary to the laws regulating the practice of homeopathy, shall not assist others to disobey the law, shall act in the aid of enforcement of sanitary laws, regulations in the interest of public health. He shall comply with the provisions of these laws, all the Regulation, Drugs and Cosmetics Act, and other Pharmacy Act and all these regulations he has to follow. His demeanor means his behavior towards his patients shall always be courteous, sympathetic, friendly, and helpful. Every patient shall be treated with attention and consideration. If he is called for visit, he shall endeavor to add to the comfort of the sick by making his visits at the hour indicated to the patient. He should reach at the time he has already given to the patients. He shall neither exaggerate or minimize the gravity of the patient's condition. So regarding his visit, there is one provision. If a person is called for a visit, if he is not reaching, the practicing physician can take the case without the visiting physician. In case of dangerous manifestations, he shall not fail to give timely notice to the family or friends of the patients and also to the patient where necessary. Patience and delicacy shall characterize the attitude of a practitioner of homeopathy. There are two attributes. They are patience, then other is delicacy. Confidences concerning the following shall not be revealed by him to anyone unless their revelation is required by the law of the state. Unless the court of the law or any authority of the state government requires the secrets confided should not be disclosed to anybody else. What are the conditions? Individuals or domestic life entrusted by the patients regarding the patient. Then defects in the disposition or character of the patients observed during the medical attendance. Then upholding honor of the profession. He shall at all times uphold the dignity and honor of the profession. He should not do anything against the honor of the profession. Membership of medical society. He can associate with the medical profession, medical societies for the advancement of the profession, and he may affiliate himself with medical societies and contribute his time, energy, and means to their progress so that his profession is advanced and his further research is there. Appointment of substitutes. Whenever a practitioner of homeopathy requests another to attend his patients during his temporary absence from practice, professional courtesy requires the acceptance of such appointment by latter if it is consistent with his other duties. If some practitioner asks the other practitioner that he is going out of station, he is absent, so kindly look my patients also, kindly consult my patients also. So he has to accept it. Otherwise, if he is not otherwise busy with other duties, important duties, the practitioner of homeopathy acting under such an appointment shall give the utmost consideration to the interest and reputation of the absent practitioner. He shall not charge either the patient or the absent practitioner of homeopathy for his services, except in the case of a special arrangement between them. If the practitioner who is absent, if he allows him to take charges, so he may do so, otherwise not. All such patients shall be restored to the care of the absent practitioner of homeopathy upon his return. The practitioner of homeopathy called in an emergency to visit a patient under the care of another practitioner of homeopathy shall, when the emergency is over, retire in favor of the latter, but he shall be entitled for charges from the patient for his services. So somebody is called in emergency by another practitioner, he may go and attend the patient and as soon as the emergency is over, he has to retire from his duties, and he may charge for that his duties. When a practitioner of homeopathy is consulted at his own residence, suppose a patient belonging to another practitioner, he he consults the medical practitioner at his residence, then it is not necessary for him to inquire the patient if he is under the care of another practitioner of homeopathy. He may treat him. When he sees a patient at the request of another practitioner of homeopathy, it shall be his duty to write a letter stating his opinion of the case with the mode of treatment he thinks is required to be adopted. So, after consultation, he has to give a letter in a sealed cover stating that this is his opinion and the mode of treatment should be this, and it should be given to the practitioner only, not to the patient. If he is engaged to attend to a woman during her confinement, he shall do so. Refusal to do so on an excuse of any other engagement shall not be considered ethical, except when he is already engaged on a similar or other serious cases. Often we have a lot of doubts regarding obstetrics cases and deliveries, whether we can conduct a delivery or not. This is the provision for that. This says that if such a condition comes and a patient comes, he cannot refuse. He has to engage unless he is having any other similar engagement. Otherwise, it will be unethical. So he has to do so. When a practitioner of homeopathy who has been engaged to attend an obstetric case absent and another is sent for and delivery is accomplished, the acting practitioner of homeopathy shall be entitled to his professional fees, provided he shall secure the patient's consent to withdraw on the arrival of the practitioner of homeopathy already engaged. Antenatal care is done by some practitioner, and after that, at the time of the delivery, if he is absent, some other is sent, so he can accomplish the delivery. Then after accomplishment of the delivery, he can conduct the delivery, and after the delivery, he is entitled for his fees, and he has to secure the patient's consent for withdrawal on arrival of the patient and the practitioner already who was attending the patient. When it becomes the duty of a practitioner of homeopathy occupying an official position to see and report upon an illness or injury. This happens especially for government doctors. If they are sent for 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 reporting an illness or injury, he shall communicate to the practitioner of homeopathy in attendance so as to give him an option of being present. So in that case, he should already communicate the practitioner who had treated the patient so that he can put his version in the case. The medical officer shall avoid remarks upon the diagnosis or treatment that has been adopted. He has to just make his report and submit it to the authorities. That's all. Consultation shall be encouraged. He shall request consultation, especially in perplexing illnesses, in therapeutic abortions, in the treatment of women who had procured criminal abortion, in suspected cases of poisoning, or when desired by the patient or his representative. Punctuality, utmost punctuality shall be observed by the physician. If he does not arrive within a reasonable time, that is quarter of an hour, that is 15 minutes, within 15 minutes, the practitioner who is already in charge may see the patient. He need not wait for the consultant, provided he shall leave his conclusion in writing in a closed envelope. In consultations, there shall be no place for insincerity, rivalry, or envy. Because if we are consulting the patient of another practitioner, we should not behave in a way so that it may tarnish the image of the previous practitioner. We should be very sincere. There is no place for insincerity, rivalry, or envy. All due respect shall be shown to the practitioner of homeopathy in charge of the case. No statement or no remarks shall be made which may impair the confidence reposed in him by the patient. For this purpose, no discussion shall be on this carried on in the presence of the patient in or in his representative. Whatever discussions are to be made, that is to be done between the two practitioners, not in front of the patient or his attendants. So whatever they have to say, they can openly say. Differences of opinion shall not be divulged unnecessarily. So that during consultation, the consulting doctor has any difference in opinion regarding the case with the previous doctor, it should not be divulged unnecessarily, provided when there is an irreconcilable difference of opinion, the circumstances shall be frankly and impartially explained to the patient or his attendants. So in such the rarest of the rarest conditions, some condition may come when the previous practitioner is not ready to accept his opinion, and where it is absolutely necessary for the life of the patient or health of the patient, then he may disclose it in a very comfortable manner. It shall be open to them to seek further advice if they so desire. If the patient so desire, so he may consult him separately. No decision shall restrain the attending practitioner of homeopathy from making such subsequent variations in the treatment. Though if one is consulted and he gave his opinion, but the physician already in charge of the patient, he may change the line of treatment or mode of treatment which is discussed or advised by the consultant, provided at the next consultation reason for variations are stated. The same privilege with its obligations belongings to the consultants when sent for in an emergency during the absence of the attending practitioner of homeopathy. The attending practitioner of homeopathy may prescribe at any time for the patient, but the consultant only in case of an emergency. Now what happens? The consultant is there, the physician is there, who is in charge of the patient. Consultant is called, he gave his opinion, the practitioner may accept or may not accept it. But in case of emergency, the consultant may give his medication according to his will. The main difference is the doctor in charge can prescribe any time to the patient, but the consultant only in case of emergency. When a practitioner of homeopathy has been called as consultant, none but the rarest of the most exceptional circumstances shall justify the consultant taking charge of the case. When it is absolutely necessary for the life of the patient, or the life of the patient is threatened in the hands of the previous practitioner, he can take charge of the patient with the consent of the patient only. He must not do so merely on the solicitation of the patient or his patients or his friends. No practitioner of homeopathy shall have consultation with any practitioner of homeopathy who is not registered. This is a bar. Practitioner as citizens. They shall cooperate with the authorities, the observance and enforcement of sanitary laws and regularities and regulations, and shall observe the provisions of the laws relating to drugs, poisons, and pharmacy made for the protection and promotion of public health. Practitioner of homeopathy engaged in the public health work shall enlighten the public concerning the quarantine regulations and measures for the prevention of epidemic, pandemic, and communicable diseases, especially nowadays the COVID-19 is going on. So it is our duty to enlighten the public concerning quarantine and other safety measures. Public health, at all times the practitioner shall notify the constituted public health authorities of every case communicable disease under their care. A practitioner of homeopathy has the right to prepare and dispense his own medicines. This is one important provision. He can prepare and dispense his medicines at his clinic. The following acts of commission and omission by the practitioner of homeopathy shall consist misconduct. This misconduct means if somebody does anything against this, he is liable for disciplinary action against him. If he contravenes any of the provisions of these regulations, if the practitioner fails to display registration number accorded to him or by the state council or central council at his clinic, if he fails to maintain records of prescription and certificates issued by him, if he commits the offenses of adultery, misbehave with patients, or maintaining an improper association with the patient, if convicted by the court of law for offenses of moral turpitude, signs or gives under his name or authority any false certificate, any certificate, report, or document of tinted character which is untrue or misleading or improper, or if he contravenes the provisions of law of Drugs and Cosmetics Act, if he sells drugs or poisons which is prohibited by law, if he performs or encourages unqualified patients to perform abortion or operations, if issues certificates in homeopathy to unqualified or non-medical persons, or provided that he can do training or research and he can train the doctors, midwives, dispensers, attendants, etc. If affixes signboards in the shop or chemist, if discloses the secrets of the patient except under required under the law, if he contravenes the guidelines issued by the concerned council, provided that nothing contained in these regulations shall apply to the context of clinical research or clinical trial or research in research or clinical trial, these are not applicable, but it should be under CCRH only. Provided further that in all cases regard shall be had to the ethical consideration. If he publishes photographs or case reports of patients, if he exhibits in public the scales of fees, if he uses touts or agents for procuring patients, if he claims to be a specialist without possessing a special qualification in the branch concerned. Then if he contravenes provisions of sub-regulation, a practitioner of homeopathy shall use any drug, that is homeopathic drug or biochemical drugs that he can use. If he advertise or notifies his name of institution or clinic in which no facility is offered, names the disease not treated. If he publishes the names of photographs of doctor running and attending the clinic or institution in the advertisement, no advertisement is allowed. If he accesses signboards unusually large, the signboard should be within the normal limits. It should not be unusually large. If he refuses to treat the patients on the ground of any religion or caste, provided that nothing contained in these regulations shall apply to the if he writes or for laying press on the matters of public health or hygiene, or delivers public lecture, gives talks on televisions, radio on health hygiene without suggesting the specific treatment or prescription. You should not give any treatment to the patients on the radio or TV shows. You can only give informative lectures. If he issues any certificate referred to in Appendix 2, which is false or untrue, false certificate, this is the format of the certificate which should be given by a homeopathic doctor. This is certificate of fitness or certificate of sickness. This is the format. So this has been already prescribed in these regulations. So this must be the format. Signature of patient or thumb impression should be there. Identification marks, at least one should be there. Better to have two. I, Dr. So and so, after careful examination. This is the first para is for sickness, and the second para is for fitness. Signature of the medical attendant, place, date, and registration number. This is very important. The nature and probable duration of illness should also be specified. Then this certificate must be accompanied by, along with this certificate, a brief resume of the case should be given, giving the nature of illness, its symptoms, causes, and duration. This must accompany, which we usually do not do. Disciplinary action. If a medical practitioner, a homeopathy practitioner commits any act of misconduct, the state board may take such disciplinary action as it thinks, remove his name from the. This is the punishment to be given, removing his name from the state register. Then, provided that no action under the sub-regulation shall be taken without giving the practitioner reasonable opportunity of being heard. First, a hearing should be done. Then, after that, the punishment may be given. Provided further, no complaint of misconduct under the regulation shall be maintained unless the complaint has been made to the state board or state council in the form of an affidavit on a non-judicial stamp paper of 100 duly attested by a notary public or auto commissioner. So this is the how one can lodge a complaint against a practitioner in 100 rupees non-judicial stamp paper duly attested by notary public or oath commissioner, and the complaint is to be made to the state council, not to the central council, within 6 months. The state board shall forward the decision. State board will take the decision first, and the decision shall be referred to the central council. The aggrieved homeopathy practitioner, he may prefer an appeal to the central council, and central council may decide the case, and the decision of the central council will be final, and the central council may direct the state board to restore the name of the practitioner in the state register after expiry of the period for which the name of the practitioner was removed, or the council may restrain the practitioner from practicing homeopathy during the pendency of the complaint. While deciding the complaint of the professional incompetency, the central council shall take the opinion of the peer group of practitioners. If the case of incompetency of the practitioner comes, a peer group of practitioners' advice is to be taken by the central council. No complaint against a practitioner for misconduct shall be allowed unless it is made within a period of 6 months from the date of alleged misconduct. Then these are the certificates which can be issued by a practitioner. Certificate of birth, certificate of death, certificate for disposal of the dead body under various central and state acts, certificate of lunacy. These are the medical certificates which can be issued, and of mental illness. Then certificates and under the Evidence Act, Education Acts, certificates under the Public Health Acts, and orders made thereunder. Certificates under the acts and orders relating to the notification of infectious diseases, certificates under Employees ESI Act, certificates in connection with the sick benefit insurance and friendly societies, certificates for procuring or issuing passports. Then certificates of illness for seeking exemption from attending court of justice in public services, in public offices, in government officer, or in other offices also, ordinary employment, certificates in connection with matters under the control of Department of Pensions, certificates for procuring driving license. These are the certificates which we can issue. These are the 11 certificates which a homeopathic medical officer can, or a homeopathic practitioner can issue, but he has to keep all the records in a register. These are the requirements. So I think the important provisions are already over. I had to go very fast because the time was less, and we are almost done. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. Let me thank the Parul University and the principals, Dr. Purav Desai, Dr. Panda, Dr. Idharth Mehta, Dr. And the colleagues. Thanks to university authorities. And if there is any query, the audience may contact to the university, the link given by the university. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think we are within the time limit.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I request Dr. Idharth Mehta, sir, to give the final remarks.
Good afternoon, one and all present over here. It is wonderful to have the esteemed speakers of the today's webinar, respected Dr. Shaukat Ali sir with us. And the today's topic that is very essential for the practitioner, that is the homeopathic practitioner, professional conduct, ethics, Code of Ethics Regulation 1982 amendment up to 2018. Each and every terminology is having importance, that is the professional, conduct, etiquette, and Code of Ethics. It should be understood by the each and every practitioner very thoroughly. It is the responsibility of the each and every doctor to give the justice of the nations and to give the justice of the society. Sir started with the exact definition of the different terminology under the system of the governance, which includes the act, law, regulation, ordinance, ethics, and morals. The medical ethics itself is a combination of the moral and ethics. It is the combination of the two compartments, that is moral and ethics, which combines the medical ethics itself. And sir started with the evolution of the medical ethics, that is Vedas, Ayurveda, Greece, Arabia, and the principles of the medical ethics, which is very essential, that is autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, veracity, repast for person of the confidentiality. Sir nicely correlate the concept of the homeopathy with the organon of the medicine, that is the aphorism number 1, that is mission of physician. Each and every physician, homeopathic physician, should know the which is laid down by the organon, Hahnemannian organon. The highest and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed. And the aphorism number 2 is very essential, that is definition of the cure. After that, sir laid down the importance of the central government, that is the government of India, National Commission of Homeopathy, which has been under the on the 20th of September 2020. So it is the duty of the each and every homeopath, it is the duty of the each and every physician to know the certain qualities. With the qualities, we should know the visit, prognosis, patient, delicacy, secrecy. Professional secrecy is very essential. Honor of the profession, we should honor, we should respect our profession. Then and then only we should follow the practice strictly. Membership of the medical society, it is the responsibility of the each and every doctor to serve the society, to serve in the community. Engagement for an obstetric case, duty of the practitioner of homeopathy in consultation, treatment after consultation, public health, professional misconduct. So the core of the today's webinar is we should strictly follow all the ethics of the practice, and we should strictly follow the regulation laid down by the central government. So thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful knowledge which has been shared in Parul University. I am thankful to, on behalf of Parul University, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar. At the outset, I thank our highly learned and eminent speakers and resource person of today's webinar, respected Dr. Sokat Ali sir, for sparing his valuable time and knowledge with us. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening with your knowledge, with your presence and audience. We are thankful to Honorable President of the Parul University, respected Dr. Devanshu Patel, sir, and respected Dr. Komal Patel, Madam, Director of Ayush Colleges of Parul University, for motivating and inspire us to design new method of the teaching and learning at faculty member amidst the COVID-19 crisis. A special thanks to the organizing committee, Dr. Purav Desai sir, Dean of Faculty of Homeopathy, Parul University, Dr. Reena Rawal Madam, Principal, Ahmedabad Homeopathic Medical College, Dr. BP Panda sir, Principal of Parul Institute of Homeopathy and Research, for their unflinching support and coordination. Special thanks to the technical committee, Vijay sir and Jiten sir, for their technical support. Our heartfelt thanks to all the delegates for their active participation. With these warm words and kind message, we move to the end of today's webinar. Stay connected. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, sir. Sir, mute. Purav sir, mute, sir. Thank you, sir. Sokat sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.